In my case, my gastroenterologist referred me straight to the surgeon, which is different than most people that I know of that have been diagnosed with esophageal cancer. Most go straight to an oncologist where they have chemo and radiation. My doctor, Dr. Maniotis, sent me straight to the surgeon. Of course, I didn't know anything or how this all worked. So my husband and I met with the surgeon, Dr. Mostovich, at St. Vincent's Hospital. And he said, "Who is your oncologist?" And I said, "I don't have one." And of course, I didn't think at that time I actually needed one. Well, he said, "Let me just talk to Dr. Maniotis for a minute." So he called him, came back. He said, "Miss Bone, the deal with your esophagus is this. You have both cancerous and precancerous tissue throughout your esophagus. So the surgery is going to be the same. We're going to need to do an esophagogastrectomy." Well, that meant, he explained, that we will remove your entire esophagus and a portion of your stomach. Well, I knew basically nothing about this. I knew that I had studied up on this. In most cases, esophageal cancer, this discovered, they cut a portion of the esophagus out and then hook it back together and you're good to go. So this was kind of new to me at that point for sure. And so he said, so we'll have to remove all of that. And what we do in that case, which this is pretty fascinating, that they reshape the stomach and they shape it into what looks like an old-timey wineskin. So it actually has a little trough on it and then the stomach part. So, okay, so Miss Bone, he could see that I was just over my head, He said, "Miss Bone, this is like at the top of the surgeries I do. I'm a thoracic surgeon. I do heart surgeries all the time. This is up at the top of the list. So this is not a little deal. This is a big deal." And so, okay, he said, "You'll probably be in intensive care 2 or 3, 4 days. You'll be in the hospital probably 10 days or more. And you're going to have some pretty long recovery." So he had to be blunt with me for me to get the real picture. So anyway, that was actually the diagnosis and all of that. So I, of course, go in about a month later is when my surgery was scheduled. And so I prepare the best, to prepare. The way they do my surgery, there's lots of different ways to do it. They do an incision from my neck down to just past my collarbone, and an incision from my breastbone down to my navel. Well, that's a lot. Well, I thought, Lord, I've been praying a long time about getting skinny, but, this is kind of like way over the top, not exactly what I had in mind. But, it all turned out okay in my case. I have been very blessed with excellent doctors, excellent follow-up, and just really blessed. And I know with excellent health professionals and all, that's one part of it. And then another part is what God's got in mind. I know, and I still know today, there's a plan in everything God allows to touch our life. I think one part of the plan for me is to be able to share my heart. Of course, I didn't want it to have to be about esophageal cancer, but it doesn't matter how God chooses to use us. But I know personally, this journey is a difficult one. It is not one that you can take lightly, and it gives you a sense of the shortness of life. When you have to come to that place that esophageal cancer brings you to, because it's a very serious cancer, and it comes back a lot of times. I don't know what my future holds, but I, just like that song, I know who holds the future. And that's okay. So it's all going to be in God's way, God's time. And if I can help anybody along the road, I'm happy to do that. So next week, we'll be talking about after I got home from the hospital. What was that? Well, I had a bonus extra blessing when I got home, and I'll tell you about that next time. Bye-bye.
You are faithful, faithful through all things. You are